with hits such as Naturally, Love You Like a Love Song, Come and Get It, Good For You, Same Old Love, Hands to Myself, Lose to Love Me, and many more. Selena Gomez is one of the most successful female artists of the 2010s. Although there is a lot of skepticism about her singing abilities, she has still managed to become one of the biggest artists in music. She started out with her band Selena Gomez The Scene, putting out 3 albums between 2009 and 2011, all reaching the top 10 on the Billboard 200, all certified gold, and have all had some longevity on the charts. Their biggest single to date is Love You Like a Love Song, which went 3 times platinum and went to number 22 on the Billboard Hot 100, spending 38 weeks on the chart. Selena went solo in 2013 and has since released 3 solo records. All have reached number 1 on the Billboard 200, and her biggest one being Revival. In 11 years, she has released 6 studio albums. So today I'm going to rank them all from worst to best, then give my thoughts on her career as a whole. At number 6, we have a debut album, Kiss and Tell. One of the main reasons why this is at the bottom is because it's the one I am least familiar with. Seeing that this is her debut, I think the sounds are a bit all over the place because you have some decent pop songs on here like Naturally and some okay pop rock songs like Falling Down and more. But they really tried to make this like an Avril Lavigne sort of pop record, and I really see this as a product of Disney and there is no identity or personality behind it. At number 5, we have A Year Without Rain. This actually used to be my favorite album from the band because the album has some great songs on it like A Year Without Rain, Rock God, and Ghost of You. But now listening to this album, it feels more of a compilation of songs than an actual record. The album, just like her debut, lacks that cohesiveness, but what makes it better is that it has a sound. It doesn't sound like it's having an identity crisis, wondering what type of sound it is. A Year Without Rain is a teen pop album, and that's it. Fun, upbeat songs that teens would love. At number 4, we have Stars Dance. Stars Dance was Selena's first solo album, and just like her debut, it's all over the place. Now, I'm not talking about having an identity crisis like the first one, but the issue lies more within the production. There is limited personality and the heavy dubstep influence is quite intense. However, the album does have some great gems such as Slow Down, Stars Dance, and Undercover. But I think Selena is one of the saving factors of this album because she has presence on some of these songs, especially Slow Down. Coming in at number 3 is When the Sun Goes Down. The last album with The Scene is by far their best because it has so much maturity than all their other records. This again is just another teen pop album, but it has more personality and creativity on it. Sonically, it sounds more polished. This album does incorporate a lot more synth, which I really like, and it was a good direction they were heading towards. I believe the band ended on a high note here because it showed a lot of growth and produced some of their best songs like Love You Like a Love Song, Outlaw, and My Dilemma, just to name a few. Now, my opinion for the last 2 albums change frequently. I have at this moment in time come to the conclusion that Rare is her second best album. Lyrically, it is the best she has ever been. She has a writing credit on every song, and this is just another stepping stone in cementing her as a true artist. This album is very strong in that you can see how personal she gets, with songs such as Lose You to Love Me and A Sweeter Place, which is one of the best songs on this album. However, the reason why it isn't my number 1 is because it doesn't have that longevity I thought it would have. I mean, it is my most listened to album of this year and one of the best albums released this year, but there's something about it and I place it more within the production of the album that doesn't really click. And saying that we waited 4 years for this album, I kind of hoped we would see something a bit more, but nevertheless, it is still a brilliant album. And our number 1 album is Revival. To me, this album is a fresh start for Selena. It was her first album outside of Hollywood Records and onto Interscope Records, and I think she had something to prove on this album. There are some amazing pop gems such as Sober, Me in the Rhythm, and Same Old Love, but I also love how she even dabbles in some R&B vibes with Revival, Good For You, and Perfect. And if she made an album full of those type of songs, that would be great. This album, I think, is freedom. It's bold, it's creative, and it has a personality and identity. You can't say that this album sounds like a replica or that she was trying to be someone else other than herself on this record. I can honestly say I cannot pick a worst song for this record. I love it. So those were my overall thoughts on the albums that she has released. But here are my thoughts on her career. When people attack Selena's career, they always go for her vocal abilities. And yes, she doesn't have the greatest or the strongest voice. But what you can admire is the fact that she doesn't try to sing like she has these powerhouse vocals. And what Selena has, she uses it to her ability. She doesn't try to be someone else vocally. Her music career is very successful. No one can deny that. She has had a good residency on the chart for over 10 years now. Her streaming numbers are very high, and she has produced hit after hit. Her Droplet era with very small promotion showed a lot of success, and Selena has shown a lot of growth. So basically, just to round that whole bit up, for a girl who can't sing, she has had a shit ton of hits. Her first 3 albums with The Scene were really nothing but products of Disney and Hollywood records. Stars Dance, I honestly believe, is her experimenting and just trying to do something different. But also, I just see it as just another contract obligation to finish the deal. Revival was Selena's chance to get rid of her Disney image. We no longer say she is from Disney, but we reminisce about that she was on Disney. She has something to prove with this album, as she is credited as executive producer for this record. She was in control for the first time and proved she is more than just another mainstream artist. It was a very commercial album, and I think that was just to bring in a new audience, and it worked because that album was huge. Rare, I think, is Selena's album. It almost feels cathartic when you listen to it because you see all the struggles, all the hardships she has been through over the last few years, and it feels very personal. I know the album isn't doing as well on the charts as I know it could have done, especially in the US, but let's admit the album had a horrible rollout and mistakes were made. And I will actually be making a video on the rollout for the album, but like I said, I think Selena made this album for herself, and her next album coming up is one we should watch out for because I have a feeling that this next one coming is going to be something very different. In future, I would like to see Selena dabble in some R&B. She has the right tone for it, and we have seen her do it multiple times with Good For You, Perfect, Crowded Room, Trust Nobody, and Fetish, which are some of her best songs to date, so I know she can definitely pull it off. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and tell me below, do you like Selena Gomez? What is your favourite album from her? Are there artists that you would want me to rank their albums? Link them below, and as always, thank you for unwinding and rewinding into time. I will see you later.